you doing, guys? I miss y'all. I told you this has turned into my social hour. Because it's like I'm starting to feel the isolation. Are you feeling it yet? Can you see the thing?
Yeah, the keyboard.
Are you feeling it? Well, you've been feeling it, right?
I've been feeling it, yeah.
Yeah. I miss you guys, even though I just was hanging with you yesterday. Rob, I know you're on. I got your message. Nice. And so today, we're going to be talking about something that some of y'all are not going to like. The question is, do you agree or not? A professor wrote an article saying on medium.com saying she's a 20-year professor. Her message to all high school seniors and their parents: if you're planning to enroll in college next fall, don't. That's basically what she's saying. Do you agree or not? At first, I was like, no, she didn't. We're already canceling graduations. But then when I read on, I was like, hey, this is good. So her first reason saying no school will be back to normal in the fall of 2020. No school. Mind you, as I read on, there's headlines of Boston University, big college in a major city, questioning whether or not they should postpone fall 2020 term to the springtime. So what she says is, no one knows whether colleges and universities will offer face-to-face instructions in the fall or whether they will stay open. Remember, they're talking about a possible resurgence of the virus. So there's a question on whether or not they will even stay open if they do. No one knows whether dorms and cafeterias will reopen or whether team sports will practice and play. It's that simple. No one knows. So there's a big question mark already walking into it. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike says there's talk about making juniors and high schoolers repeat this year. Whoa, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
So her second reason is one that I think may sway some people. So I know, I can't wait to hear Kelly's. But she says, this is no time to be making one of the largest financial commitments of your life. The United States economy has suffered a massive shock, and the consequences are ongoing and unknown. Even before this crisis, college students, we've been talking about it with Dave Safransky. Even before this, there's been the question of school loans. Can we afford this? Is it too big? And so to walk in the middle of such a big question mark in terms of the economy, is it the time to make this decision? Most schools will allow you to defer for a year. Consider taking them up on it. That's her second suggestion. And then she goes on to talking about FOMO. Let go of FOMO. The fear of missing out. Just encouraging seniors on, listen, this is a bigger decision than it usually is. Forget what other people are doing and release the fear of missing out. And then my favorite. She says, instead, spend the year doing something else. For example, up your technological literacy, right? Understanding, we understand people under 2020 are digitally on it, but she says spend time kind of refreshing some skills and some your skills on technology and what is it? Your technological
aptitude.
Is that it?
Okay,
Second, she says develop more life skills. Hello. Talk about 18-year-old needing life skills that may be even more valuable than a college degree. Yeah. She says, spend time increasing your knowledge of those, whether it's cooking or laundry. But then the third one is more practical. She says, get a job or volunteer. The coming economic downturn may be very severe, and I'm not suggesting that teenagers compete for minimum wage jobs. But she says you can do online tutoring or apprenticeship, even if it's free. Whatever it looks like, I like her idea of not sit down at home for a year, but use it for things that are productive. So before you throw tomatoes at me, I agree. Do you agree? And do you agree?
See, I don't agree. And a part of it is because I I agree and disagree with a couple points. So the first part of it, yes, it's a financial burden, and I don't think you should claim a major. I think that would be the key, but you can be doing gen eds. If you're wanting to get a college degree, get those out of the way, because you're going to have to do it with whatever degree that you do.
But what about the idea that if, let's say you walk into campus in August, it's really in August you walk in.
Yeah.
You don't know if in October they're going to be like, oh, we're canceling. Would you still start in August?
I feel like I probably still would. I'm guessing that a lot of classes will be online, especially with gen eds. Some gen eds may be hard, like science, because you'll need like a just like studios and stuff for that. But yeah, getting the generic like history class out of the way, getting your English class out of the way, stuff like that, I would do and I wouldn't wait on.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you do like an entire semester of work. You know what I said? Like this full 16 credits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even if it's just a few to get it out of the way, I would do it, because it took me 5 years to graduate with my 2 degrees.
Yeah.
And so that's like, if you know you're going to be, like when you go into college, you really don't know how much time you're going to spend in college.
Hello.
So,
how many?
I mean, honestly, because there were even people when I was at college who were there for 6 years. So you're postponing kind of having a job and a career, and then also getting finances.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act, I think.
As we continue the discussion, Jennifer, I'm about to read your take on this. I always look forward to reading your take. Hi, Janet. What's up? Let me look at your picture. I love looking at people's pictures. Haven't seen you in a while, Janet. Oh, your little puppy. Oh, my goodness. Is that your puppy?
Oh, so
he is cute. Is that a Shih Tzu? Oh, my goodness. Super cute. So I agree with the professor, but the idea of a gap year is something I've been planning for my kids anyways. I love the idea, and I have heard it from other professors at other times, like completely outside of this COVID time, that they actually think is very beneficial for college students to have to walk into college with some life experience. Yeah. Number one, it helps them not underestimate the value of the education they're getting and the money. It kind of helps them frame money, economics, finances. It helps them as they pick majors, like figure out what do you want to do? What is life like? I think, and this is what I've been planning for my kids anyways, spending a year working and paying bills and like experiencing some of the grind of life and then going to college helps you appreciate that big time investment. This is something that's very common in Europe, has been common for years. People like here in the United States, I've seen a lot of homeschoolers do it. The Obama girls just did it. Yeah. And you can actually get accepted to college and defer a year. And so you have the college acceptance locked in and take a year break. So when I saw this, I was like, hello, this is especially when kids need to kind of slow down and wait. If you disagree, let me know, but let me know nicely because, don't hurt my feelings.
Right.
So Jennifer says, while I agree with what she's saying, I think with so many options for how to attend school, I think it would make more sense for them to apply and only take online courses or online in a community or junior college. That's a great idea.
Well, and the thing about life skills is there's so many. I could tell you stories. There's so many life skills that college students don't know. There were individuals who didn't even know how to mail something at the post office. Yeah. And that something needed a stamp in order for you to mail anything. And there's life skills like building a resume, how to budget, like all those things. But I think the issue that I see is not every parent is willing to spend the time to teach their kids that. Yeah, and they should be.
That's true.
I honestly think high school should have a course specifically teaching all those things. And those life skills. There's even individuals that I know who don't really even cook or don't know how, so they eat out. Yeah. Which, that's a lot of financial burden in a sense because it gets expensive.
Hi, Carol. You are one of the heroes. She's an elementary school teacher. I'm looking at your profile. Those little kids are so cute. Two little boys. Oh my goodness. Family. Adorable. Good morning, Carol. So Mike says it's kind of risky. He says it's a personal opinion. The seriousness of this crisis is going to die and the risk will be minimal in a month. Deborah says life must go on and we must adjust. We must find a way. And Mike continues on to say waiting a year is very risky because they tend to buy things and start a lifestyle that takes money. So they work for that year and then can't find the stuff they bought and can't afford to go to college. I think the family... Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead first.
Well, I was going to say, how do you determine whether... Like, every child's different.
Yeah.
So how do you determine which child is going to do it well and which child isn't? Because I think some children are going to be more apt to wanting to learn these things and others aren't, and they aren't motivated. So how do you balance that? I don't...
For me, their gap year will not all look the same.
Mm-hmm.
So number one, the conversation starts way before you're a senior about your gap year as a parent. And I think for the gap year, the parent makes the difference.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, take a year off, peace out, you're 18.
Right.
It's like I'm still partnering with you through life. I'm still walking with you.
Yeah.
And so I've been talking about this to my kids for years, and it all depends on their interests. So I have my 17-year-old son, he is desperate to learn Spanish. So he wants to spend his gap year at a bilingual school.
Oh, nice.
In hopefully Dominican Republic, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But he wants to spend that year learning Spanish.
Mm.
And so we're also talking to him about ways he can make money. He wants to, we'll see how this goes, buy his first rental property that year. Whether or not that happens, we'll see. We've talked to him about, okay, how are ways that you're going to make money, period.
Yeah.
So we've been planning this. The other child, who's 16, he's very artsy, all about theater, has been playing the piano for more than a decade.
Love it.
And so I brought up to him the possibility of, how about you spend a year at Second City and explore your talent and whatever and figure out what you want to do. Whether or not that happens is one thing, but the conversation has to continue has to start early. But I agree. There are kids that could blow that whole year.
Oh.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I've seen kids. I have seen kids, people. I went to Oberlin College, super expensive. Blow that year in college.
Oh, there definitely are.
Hello, I would rather, if you're not focused, do all that outside of college. I don't think college is the place to figure out what you want to do. But that's a personal opinion.
No.
Betty, hola, says, we used to have home ec classes, but they have been eliminated. So sad.
It is sad.
So sad. Jennifer says, I don't think schools should be responsible for teaching life skills. This is something that should be done within a family when possible. We can't keep putting more stuff on schools and we'll expect them to produce children who can succeed academically. Adding more to the curriculum means something will be watered down. Amen. I agree. But I know not all families are in the position to teach it or even have the time. No. My parents were amazing and they both worked full time. My mother kind of taught me how to cook.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, I just don't want to, not all families have that focus at the time.
And I had a mom, I think I was maybe 10 when I started cooking, but it was like a grilled cheese or like mac and cheese.
Yeah.
But you gotta start somewhere.
Jennifer says, do children in Europe typically graduate before 18? I'm not sure. I don't know. That's a good question. Deborah says, just if, life will be forever different. Our choice of job vocations can change. Thus, it changes everything. Amen.
It's true. So even if you get a degree or go for something, you can completely shift gears later in life. That is absolutely true.
Lana says, precious little expands one's horizon as much as travel. Can you explain that? Oh, wait, she's answering Mike. Have you thought about an exchange program to live in another country to learn the language? And then Lana responded to that. Yes, Mike. My number one choice is Dominican Republic because I have family there. And in Dominican Republic, there's a really good bilingual school. And that's where my son wants to go. And then he'll probably live with family so we can save money. But if that's not an option because of finances, then I would look for alternatives here. Carla. Hi, Carla. Ooh, look.
Hey.
Ooh, look at you. Your profile picture. Are those your sisters? Let me see. So cute. Are those your daughters? Oh my gosh, Carla. You're you look good.
So
Carla
fashionable,
says, good morning. This is a difficult time for our seniors. I like the idea of a gap year, but my daughter doesn't. I know.
Yeah.
I think about when you're a senior, and if you haven't been planning that, to just suddenly be like, take a gap year, that's hard.
Well, and I think it's hard too because when you think of like doing homework and stuff, it is slightly different in college. It's similar and it isn't at the same time. And so I think for me it would have been hard to do a gap year. Because I wouldn't be immersed in studying. I think even now if I were to go back and get a degree or like a master's or something, it's getting back in the mindset of writing papers and doing studies and doing homework.
Yeah.
So
part of me wishes I would have done a gap year to really discover what I want to do, like what I'm good at. I wish I would have done that, but that does take planning. Carla says those are her daughters. You look good, girl, and I love your picture. And I know, like, I just called you girl, but you know. Roseanne says, good morning, ladies. I'm a huge advocate of young people taking a gap year. Woo! Hey. I think it is a brilliant way for them to learn more about themselves, the world they live in, and truly be focused. Amen. When they start university, college, or whatever they choose, even if it's directly into the job market. And a gap year is not a just for fun, amen, year where you just do nothing but play and get a part-time job. It is meant to be something very significant. I always tell parents, if you want to see your children grow up, encourage them to do a gap year. We are one of the few cultures who don't do this. Amen. And I've always said, I am not paying $50,000 a year or $20,000 for you to figure out what you want to do. I think to make, and I wish I would have done this, to make, first of all, the fact that we live in a country, which it's just the way it is, where at 18 you got to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Oh,
it's
weird.
That's like
it's a bad idea. Yeah.
So I wish I would have, like, to be immersed in life, even if it's just getting a job and paying for groceries and like getting a little of that and then going into college. I think it would make it so much more significant. And I know not everybody can do that, but there's value. And I think today, with all the uncertainty, I think it would be a great alternative.
Yeah, it does change your perspective. I think even being in college, you think you're living on your own, and you have no clue what living on your own is. Because you're in a dorm room.
Yeah, you got no idea.
And you think, oh, I'm being, like, either financially supported or supported by the government, and just saying, hey, like, I'm not paying anything, but you are. Yeah, it's
Angela says, it's so much pressure today, and a gap year would assist more students. I have a high school junior, and she is undecided on a career. It doesn't even have to be complicated. It could just be you stay at home, you get a job. You know, you can maybe learn to play the guitar. You can shadow professionals at your church. But I know it's a difficult decision if you haven't planned this. The article that I shared this morning, it's not just gap year. It's like, in light of the uncertainty of the economy and all of that, could it be a good idea to kind of postpone freshman year? This is what this professor is suggesting. I'm going to share the link right now so you can read through it. But I think life isn't fair, and life is unpredictable, and we don't get everything we want. Now, this is coming from a mom of a 17-year-old. I know it's hard, but I'm saying use this article to help you maybe think through options, you know, and think through what does the future look like? What are our alternatives? How can we kind of make the best of what we have? I do think, you don't think, Kelly, there are a lot of questions moving into the fall? There's a lot of like the article says, the professor said, we don't even know the colleges that are going to be open. And if they do open, will they stay open?
Right. And that's why doing gen eds, I think, would be a really smart move, because it will help you. If college is the route that you're wanting to go, it's going to help you get those done early.
That's good. And you said even if you do it online.
Even if you do it online, just make sure that they transfer to wherever you're hoping to go.
Yeah, that's
because
a good point.
You don't want to redo credits. The worst thing to do is having to redo courses that you've already done. That would be a waste of time.
That's a good
and a
point.
waste of money too. Mark says, I would advise against a gap year primarily for someone like me who was extremely unmotivated by school in general. If I would have taken a gap year, I would not have gone to college.
That's a good point. And you mentioned some of that it's not meant for everybody.
No.
Betty says, I would not send a kid away to school, but maybe have them take classes locally or online.
Agree.
Great point. The online option, in fact, Boston University, I mentioned earlier, Boston University, big time college in a major city, they are already putting out a question mark. Will we postpone fall semester?
Yeah.
And so part of the discussion is, will we just go fully online? So there is that option. That's a great point, Betty.
And I think it depends what degree you're hoping to go for.
Hello.
Because that makes a huge difference.
In the comment section of that article, it's part of like a homeschool group I'm a part of. One of the parents was like, hello, if you're an engineering student, do you understand that? So yeah, that's, but maybe taking classes that are will get you the credits you need that are not the technical stuff.
Yeah, like, let's just say if you're going into, like, maybe counseling, because you can still take those courses. Like, if you want to be a music student, I would probably advise against it, because you learn so much and you have to be one-on-one.
Yeah.
Engineering student, any of the sciences, because you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah.
Mike, that's a great point. He says you just need to be very disciplined in planning. It's easy to see the big picture for a son or daughter to do that. But for them, it's more difficult to transition back to the study discipline and restricted life. That's true.
That would have been hard for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think even now I'm like, the thought of more education, I'm like, no, don't want to go back to the studying.
Hi, Lana and Sandy. Hey, Sandy. Look at all those kids. Are those your kids, or are you a teacher? Let me know.
I love seeing everyone's photos.
Oh my goodness,
this is fun.
This is cool. Jennifer, I love when she's on. Mike is on. I want to say hi to Tammy and Carol and Kenrick. Gary, Joe, Miriam. My mom's on.
Oh.
So I gotta behave.
Hi, Mom.
Mommy's awesome. She did a good job. Hi, Tammy and Lana. We're talking about, if you look up, I shared the link. It's a 20-year professor telling high school seniors, if you're planning to enroll in college next fall, don't. So do you agree or not agree? Maybe this is a good time for gap year. Kelly has said, and some of you have said, take advantage of online classes.
Yeah.
Just a lot of questions. And I know Dave Safransky would love this, but she highlights and says, this is no time to be making one of the largest financial commitments of your life. Gary is missing Brian. We are too, Gary. And he's coming back tomorrow with Dave. Well, Dave is on the phone.
Yeah. He won't be coming in.
Yeah.
But we'll get in touch with them.
Nice to have you, Gary. Well, guys, check out the article, share it, and read it with the seniors of your life.
Yes.
Or high schoolers.
Hang in there, seniors. You got this.
Oh, yeah. Brian's okay. He'll be back tomorrow. He's just resting.
Yeah. It's true.
Scholarships, Angela, that's a good point. I don't have the, oh, here it is.
Well, and actually that might be a good time to, I feel like the economy is interesting right now, but look for scholarships.
I know that's right.
Absolutely.
Amy, what's up? Nice to have you. Angela, Marian, Gary. Bye, Gary. Gary, make sure to come tomorrow. Brian will be back on.